What is going on, ladies and gents, and welcome to another video. Today we're checking out SCP-3008, the Infinite IKEA by the Volgun. Now, a lot of people have said they prefer the Volgun to SCP Illustrated, which is fair enough. Obviously, they both do very similar content, like they read the wiki page out and they add like voices and make it more entertaining, whereas Exploring series gives you a nice overview of stuff, right? So yeah, I'm going to do IKEA, the Infinite IKEA from the Volgun, because you guys want me to. And a lot of people have requested IKEA. Obviously, there's a two episodes of Confinement with it, which we checked out. So yeah, this should be interesting. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe for more SCP, Warhammer, and any other content I decide to do. One announcement, we'll see if I start streaming. I don't know if it'll be on Twitch or YouTube. I want to stream that SCP Containment Breach game. We'll see, and a few other games. We'll see what happens, man. It really depends, because if I want to do reactions on stream as well, it's probably gonna have to be Twitch, just so we don't get copyright strikes, you know. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's get into this stuff.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3008. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The retail park containing SCP-3008 has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into site. All public roads leading to or passing by site have been redirected. The entrance to SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times, and no one is to enter SCP-3008 outside of testing, as permitted by the senior researcher. Humans exiting SCP-3008 are to be detained and then debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics, dependent upon...
So IKEA is just a regular IKEA, where you could get meatballs and flat pack furniture, and then once you go in, it's just infinite. So once the Foundation found out, they bought the lot with IKEA on, and now you can't go in. Alright, fair play.
Upon the situation of their stay in SCP-3008, a cover story may need to be generated prior to their release.
Probably.
Any other entities exiting SCP-3008 are to be terminated.
That would be pretty fucked up if, you know, you go in, you're just missing for like 2 weeks. No one knows where the hell you've gone, or in this case could be years, but no one knows where the hell you've gone. You know, you're going to need a cover story. Whereas, you know, if any of those weird faceless creatures are coming out, yeah, they probably should be terminated. I have a question though. Do doctors and, like, employees of the Foundation have a regular life outside the Foundation? Like, do they have a wife and children and live outside the Foundation? Or do they all live in the Foundation? Because obviously in the sites, they have all the D-class guys and all the anomalies and stuff wandering around. So I wonder if doctors and researchers and the task forces live on site, or if they all have regular lives. I'd assume they'd have regular lives, right?
Description: SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as IKEA, a popular furniture retail chain.
Yes.
A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated into SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed, as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate an area of at least 10 kilometers squared, with no visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space may be infinite.
That's fucked.
SCP-3008-1.
So you walk in to your regular IKEA before it was found to be an SCP. You just want to buy some flat pack furniture and have some meatballs for lunch. You roll up into IKEA, you go through the doors, you start walking, and all of a sudden you don't know where the hell you are. You start looking for the exit, and then boom, you can never find it. That is scary. That is scary, and considering it's infinite, you could be walking forever, provided you have food and water. and you don't get eaten or by whatever lives in here. Oh, that would not be an experience I'd like to have.
1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests that they have formed a rudimentary civilization within SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1.
Straight out of a horror game.
Superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features, and in all observed cases, wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform.
Fair play.
SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle, determined by the overhead lighting within the space activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the night instances of SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other life forms within SCP-3008-1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of, "The store is now closed, please exit the building."
That shit would be so fucking terrifying, and it would make for a great goddamn horror game too. Could you imagine escaping the infinite IKEA? Oh my god, I'd be so scared, dude. It'd probably be like Outlast a little bit, right? Because you'd have shit running around, and you'd have to escape the IKEA, like you'd have to escape the asylum in Outlast or whatever the hell it is. That shit, that shit would be terrifying. Like, get out of the store, or store is closed. That is great, man. That is amazing.
A begins. SCP-3008-2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1, seemingly at random.
Okay.
They are unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if attacked. SCP-3008-1 is known to have one or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into the non-anomalous interior of the original store.
So, if I break in through a wall or go for a back door, I just go to a regular IKEA. That's on Earth. But if I go through the front door, I go into the anomalous one. That is very intriguing. Also, they have many exits, or I have a few exits in the anomalous one, but they move. Like the staircases in Harry Potter, so you could never know where the hell it is. That would be so messed up. Imagine you know there's an exit, and then you get there and it's just gone. Like, oh my, that'd be terrifying. It kind of reminded me a bit of Maze Runner in the fact of the maze. I know it's not kind of the same, but it's got a little bit of similarities, you know?
Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to exit SCP-3008.
Well played.
Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered amnestics and released. Incident 3008-1. At 0:37 hours on 2000, a human male exited SCP-3008, followed 10 seconds later by an instance of SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 caught and killed the man before itself being terminated by an armed response personnel. This incident represents the only time an instance of SCP-3008-2 has been seen exiting SCP-3008.
That would be messed up.
A full autopsy on the corpse was performed. See 3008-2 autopsy log for more details.
So this guy finally got out. Imagine the euphoria of walking out the door, and then you start walking, and you're just so excited to breathe the fresh air. You know, you're outside, and next thing you see, this fucking monster comes and bang, dead. Oh my god. I mean, I wouldn't be walking, I'd be sprinting when I was leaving. I'm not gonna lie to you, but...
The man was carrying an IKEA-branded journal, seeming to document his time in SCP-3008-1. Transcribed below, verbatim.
So, I'm writing this to document what I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad a navigator. And yet, as I write this, I've been trapped in IKEA for 2 days. I haven't seen another person in the entire time I've been here. I thought it was a prank at first. Turn the place into a maze, get all the people out, and see how long it takes me to get lost. Then everyone has a good old laugh. Realized that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed, so I ended up lost. Instead of the exit, it was just row after row of bookcases. So I'm trapped in an IKEA. Sounds like the setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m., nearly giving me a fucking heart attack.
Yep, would give me one too.
Loud electrical thunk sound, and then pitch blackness.
Oh.
Place is full of beds, though.
Like in the movies where it's like, they pull a breaker and it goes... Alright.
One, my phone has a torch on it, but no damn signal.
Of course.
So I found a bed and went to sleep.
Without getting...
Spent most of the day trying to find my way out with no luck. Did find a restaurant serving those meatballs, though, so at least I won't starve.
Fair play.
That's probably the punchline to that joke. Anyway, they were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. Made my way back to the beds before the lights cut out again, since it's too dark to search with them off.
So, he made his way to the beds without encountering any of SCP-3008/2? Any of those weird faceless creatures?
It's 9:10 a.m. now. The lights came back on a little while ago. I'm sure I've searched the entire area where I came in now. And the exit obviously isn't here, so I'm gonna pick a direction.
Pretty much.
And hope for the best.
Do.
Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure that there was something seriously weird about this place before, I am now. Walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line. Insert IKEA joke here. Before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves they have here. Climbed up to get my bearings, and it looks like this place just stretches on forever. Like that scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass, it was all shelves and tables and crap.
What, this guy's trapped and he's got time for Lion King jokes? My man. Is he referring to the scene where Mufasa is to like Simba? As far as the eye can see or the horizon, that's our kingdom. Is that what he's referring to?
I did see a person moving not too far away though, so I headed over. Thought it was a staff member at first. It was wearing a uniform. Hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot-tall monsters with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just the kinds of thing that they want working at a super IKEA. Damn thing completely ignored me, though. And with no eyes or ears, I can't even be sure it knew I was there. Thought about shoving it or something to get its attention. But its hands were big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. It just kept moving, and I eventually lost sight of it, so I decided to carry on the way I was going. Anyway, no comfy bed for me tonight. Looks like I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. Guess I'll have to make do with some bunched up tablecloths. Phone battery died during the day too. Didn't work anyway, but I feel like I've just lost some vital lifeline.
Well, you can't keep track of time now, though.
You ever see one of those cartoons where they're going through doors in a hallway and they just pop out of another door in the same hallway?
Yes.
That's how I feel right now. I've seen nothing.
Like where they have the two corridors and they run in one side and end up running out the other side. Like, the one cartoon that reminds me of is Scooby-Doo, when they're getting chased by monsters and they end up running through the doors and all end up in... Yeah, that shit is funny. That's funny.
Nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days now.
Lord.
Just row after row after row of them. I mean, come on. I love books just as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forwards, though. I can see the signs hanging overhead passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm gonna write when I get out of here.
Where do you get a pen?
I'll call it my perfectly normal trip to a regular old IKEA. If I ever get out of here.
I was about to say where did he get a pen, but if I recall correctly, last time I went to IKEA, they have like those free pencils you can just take, right? The IKEA pencils. So maybe he's writing in those.
Finally found some other people.
Ooh.
Yeah. Turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess. My 6th night here. 2 of those staff things came at me in the dark. Different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. Heard them coming. They were saying that the store was closed and I had to leave the building, all nice and polite like. I'm not sure which part of that was weirder. That they didn't have mouths, or that they were apparently trying to kill me while they were saying it. Came at me like rabid dogs. So I legged it.
Hold on, did he say they were saying it as nicely but trying to kill him? Please, sir, get out of the store. Fuck. That would be fucked up. Just trying to stab him or beat the fuck out of him. Just swinging their long, dangly, slender man arms at him. Please get out of the store. The store is closing.
Sprinting through IKEA in the dark like a fucking madman.
Oh,
I saw it when I cleared another stand in front of those giant stock shelves, all lit up with torches and floodlights. They've built a whole town here.
Ooh.
Got a massive wall built out of shelves and beds and tables and whatever else. I swear to God it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Anyway, I guess they saw me coming, or they heard my manly bellows of fear, because they had a gate open, and 2 people were there waving me in. Heard the staff thing slam into the gate behind me after it closed, still politely informing us that the store was now closed. They wandered off eventually, though. They call the town Exchange, because that's what's on the sign hanging from the ceiling directly above it. Exchange and returns, all lit up against the night, using lights they found and plugged into the power lines. And there are beds, and food, and people. Over 50 wonderful people, with regular-sized limbs and a full set of facial features. It's now my 7th night here, and the first one not spent in darkness. A full week living in IKEA. There's probably a TV show in that somewhere.
Could you imagine surviving in IKEA or a week in IKEA? There's probably some weird YouTuber who's done a clickbaity, I spent a week in IKEA. Like, you know, those guys are like, I mailed myself here. Like, I bet there's one dude who's clickbaited that shit. But as the IKEA changes, I'm assuming that the place, this fortress thing, this little town doesn't move with the IKEA. How do they navigate back to it though? Like, that's weird.
Now that I'm around other people, I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the word, but after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps for company, I was becoming increasingly sure that I'd just gone nuts. That I was tied up in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the wall. But no, I feel quite sane now, thank you very much. Apparently there are other towns out there. Some with more people, some with less. I found that fairly mind-boggling. How can that many people go missing with no one noticing? Surely someone would have noticed that everyone who goes to IKEA seems to f***ing vanish.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not everyone.
Yeah,
maybe
probably
we're just
isn't.
the lucky ones.
Probably isn't, like, because IKEA's always bloody packed. Like, everyone walks into IKEA, maybe one, like, you walk off a different direction from whoever you're with, and then next thing you know, you're lost, right? I mean, and you can't find where you're going, you know what I mean, or where you are. I know somebody who, I don't think they would be very happy with me saying what happened, but I won't say who they were. I know somebody who was running through IKEA looking for a toilet, and unfortunately, you know, didn't find one. But, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
The people here just call those staff monster things the staff. Apparently they're fine during the day, minding their own business, walking the aisles. As soon as the lights go out, they go f***ing bonkers. So, during the day, people go out to find food, water, and whatever else they need. Apparently there are restaurants and shops around that get randomly restocked. No one knows how. Maybe the staff do it. Apparently they aren't very good at their jobs though, because the restocking sometimes takes a while, which means the food needs to be rationed. Maybe if they weren't so busy chasing people around in the dark, they'd get more done. Anyway, when night comes, the staff go nuts and everyone holds up inside the walls. Apparently it's the same everywhere in this place, wherever this place is. The IKEA, from whence all other IKEAs sprang. Or maybe we're all still just in the regular IKEA and this is all some fever dream brought on by a mind-numbing boredom. Who knows? Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track a long time ago. And one guy, Chris, said he'd been here for years.
Jesus.
Years.
Years. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. I don't know how you would keep track unless you have a book and you literally tally chart your days. But that's like the whole zombie apocalypse. How would you know how many days in you are? Eventually you'd just lose track. Also, he mentioned that he was starting to go crazy by himself. That actually does happen to people that get trapped in desert islands or in a place by themselves for a long time. They tend to go crazy and they tend to invent people to talk to. That's why, what's that film with Tom Hanks where he gets trapped on an island and he makes a watermelon to talk to? I can't remember what it's called. I haven't watched it. I've just seen that bit. Yeah, that's why he makes it, because he talks to watermelon, stops him going actually insane.
Apparently there are rumors of people who do manage to get out, and people who see the exit only to have it vanish before their very eyes.
That would be so.
I get the feeling not everyone believes that, but I do. Explains how he got stuck in here in the first place.
Let's go.
And I mean, come on. Staff monsters, row after row of high-quality Swedish furniture. I don't know why they would find a disappearing door so hard to believe in. Anyway, I went out scavenging for food at a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today. Once you learn the landmarks of this place, it's not so hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others. Not too far in the distance, a huge section of those giant stock shelves is collapsed against each other, and way off in the east, we all assume it's east anyway. Apparently IKEA doesn't sell compasses. There's some kind of tower that looks like it's made of wood. Reaches all the way up to the ceiling.
The canopy.
Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. It lights up at night, so there must be people there. But apparently...
That's what Connor went to in confinement. Was it called the canopy drive or something?
It's a few days walk, which means it must be miles away. So no one here really knows for sure. Apparently, I got incredibly lucky sleeping out in the open for a week without getting ripped to bits by the staff.
Probably.
That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. We found some food in the shop. Guess the staff restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a telephone on the wall, so I figured I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end, but they were just talking nonsense. Random words strung together with no real meaning. You ever see a video of someone with aphasia? Kinda sounded like that. Didn't answer me when I spoke to them anyway. Sandra says all the phones in here are the same. Oops. Asking the journal questions again. I was thinking last night. The ceiling on this place is pretty high, and as far as anyone can tell, it goes on forever. Shouldn't there be some kind of weather in here? I'm sure I read about some NASA building that was so big it had its own weather patterns, with clouds and stuff. This place is definitely bigger than that. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I've never felt so much as a temperature change in here. I'll add it to the grand list of weird bullshit. The staff attacked the exchange last night. Must have been 20 or 30 of them all just asking us to leave the store, calm as you like, while trying to smash the walls down with their bare hands. Apparently this happens pretty regularly, so everyone is prepared for it. Knives from the restaurants, lawnmower blades made into hatchets, a fire axe. One guy, Wasim, even made a functional crossbow. Anyway, the walls have holes in them, which I hadn't noticed before. Specifically so we can stab out at the staff when they attack.
Smart, but you need a spear. Just having a knife stabbing out, just gonna grab you, bro. So yeah, spear.
A couple of them down myself. Ooh. They don't seem to bleed, which is weird. But they go down as easy as a regular person once you start sticking holes in them.
Yep.
We had to haul the bodies away in the morning. Apparently the dead ones will attract more during the night.
Jeez.
So we had to get them away from exchange. We have a couple of those trolley things they used to move big boxes around, so we loaded them up and took them over to pickup. Apparently people just name everything in here after whatever sign is hanging overhead.
Makes sense.
Pickup was grisly. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of dead staff all piled up. There was no smell, which was a blessing. Apparently, in addition to not bleeding, these things don't rot either. My curiosity got the better of me while we were unloading them, so I took a look at one of the more cut up ones. They're just skin, or something that looks like skin, all the way through. No muscle, no bone, no organs. Are they even really alive in the first place? They certainly seem like they have bones when they're moving around, pounding on the walls. I'm sure I felt more resistance than just skin when the knife went in during the night. Maybe something happens to them when they die. Just one more thing on the ever-increasing list of weird shit that goes on in here, I guess. Something occurred to me. After the staff attack the other night, every time you see a situation like this on TV or in a film, like it's the end of the world or everyone is trapped on an island or whatever, once groups like ours start to form, people always seem to turn on each other, fighting for food or dominance or whatever else. That hasn't happened here. Apparently people from other towns come by from time to time, just to check in or occasionally trade if they're short on something. But everything is always cordial. Friendly, even. Maybe it's the threat of the staff, or perhaps the constant restocking of supplies in the shops means there's nothing much to fight over.
True.
Maybe people are just better than they're generally given credit for. That's a nice thought. I think I'll go with that one.
I wouldn't.
A dozen people showed up at the gates this afternoon from a town called Trolleys. Apparently the staff broke through the walls and tore the town apart during the night. These 12 are the only survivors out of over 100. We let them in, obviously. One more point in the human decency column. Later, I asked if anyone knew how many of these towns were out there. Between us and the new folks, we managed to come up with over 20 names.
Wow.
20 towns filled with people, and who knows how many beyond that.
Just 20 they know of. I'm assuming people, like, when they get transported in, they teleport in at different bits of the IKEA, so there's definitely bits that none of these people ever heard of. Like, there's random people in random towns for sure.
The motto for this place should be, how is that even possible? Surely someone, somewhere, must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here.
Yeah.
I've been here for a little over 2 months now. Not that much changes, as it turns out. A couple of new people showed up. Same story as the rest of us. Nice little trip to IKEA, and suddenly they're trapped in Billy Bookcase's house of faceless weirdos. The staff attack the exchange once or twice a week. We kill them and haul off their bodies. Sometimes they hurt some of us first. They killed a guy called Jared a couple of weeks back.
Jared!
It was awful, frankly. Turns out, regular humans still bleed in here, even if the staff don't. We tried our best, but none of us are doctors. Jared was a good guy. He deserved better. We all do.
What happens to the bodies when they die? Do they put them with these dead weird things? Do they just leave them there to decompose, or do they? Well, you can't bury them. Surely the floor is made of like the concrete or whatever. So
it occurred to me that a couple of days after that, none of us were really looking for a way out of here. I don't even know where we'd start. One of those quadcopter things with a camera attached must be just exchanged today. I thought it meant that someone was finally looking for us, that help was on the way. Apparently it's not the first time this happened, though. Same thing happened a few months ago, and everyone is still here. No idea if it saw us. It didn't stop if it did, just kept flying until we could no longer see it.
Note: based on recovery time of the journal, this entry appears to line up approximately with our first successful test piloting a drone inside SCP-3008-1. Analysis of footage shows a walled settlement under a sign labeled Exchange and Returns. Attempts to relocate the settlement failed. Origin of previously sighted drones is unknown.
So like what they done to Connor in confinement, they can actually get drones in here, but they don't get them back. Okay.
Started talking to people about the stuff they miss from home during dinner today. Probably not the best idea I've ever
Probably
had.
not.
Everyone seemed pretty down after. A bunch of people here have families. Husbands and wives, kids, dogs.
Dogs.
Franklin apparently has a pet llama.
What?
Well, I'm not sure I buy that. But apparently some of the people here have some seriously odd gaps in their knowledge. 3 of them had never heard of the International Space Station. 2 of them seemed to think it was the Prime Minister. And one of them had apparently never heard of the Statue of Liberty. I believed them, too. They seem just as confused as the rest of us.
So maybe they've been in there for forever, and they got in there before. Or maybe they came from different countries.
The more I thought about it, though, the more it started to explain a few things. What if the reason no one is looking for all us missing people is because we haven't all come from the same place? This is gonna sound weird. Maybe that should be the motto for this place. But what if all the people here have come here from different dimensions, realities, whatever you call it?
That would be mad. That would be insane. Like, they come from all kinds of different dimensions. What? That would be interesting, because that would explain it. Or I was going to say time periods. Maybe you don't age in the infinite IKEA. But then that wouldn't make sense. So yeah, this explanation's probably better.
I've seen enough TV shows to know the drill. Sarah comes from a place where there's no Statue of Liberty. They didn't launch a space station where Wasim is from. If everyone here came from different places, even from ones that seem identical, there'd be no huge missing persons panic, no mass search. We'd just be a blip, a single missing person in a world of non-stop news. Well, that was a fun train of thought.
That would be quite crazy. I mean, there's so many missing people, though, that you'll never find. And, I mean, I went to IKEA and I never saw him again. That would be very, very questionable, but then they'd probably chalk it up to he ran away from you, or she ran away, or she just didn't want to, I don't know, man. Well, yeah, a lot of people disappearing in IKEA, that would cause suspicion, so yeah, that extra dimensions does make sense.
Just realized that yesterday was the 6-month anniversary of my arrival here. I wonder if IKEA sells party hats. The routine around here has remained more or less the same. More new folks show up, one every couple weeks or so. Food supplies go up and down, but we've never actually had a major shortage. Occasionally we get a visitor from one of the nearby towns, usually checkouts or aisle 630. We check in with each other from time to time, occasionally trade supplies if someone gets particularly low on something. It's comforting, in a way. A reminder that we aren't alone here. Some small glimmer of civilization. Sometimes they bring medical supplies. Apparently there's a pharmacy a few towns down from checkouts that gets restocked every now and then, so they share out what they can. I've never heard of an IKEA with a pharmacy before.
Neither have I.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if someone stumbled on an IKEA organ harvesting lab. Would certainly explain the stem.
Maybe in a different dimension, that's where there's a pharmacy's IKEA.
Speaking of our faceless jailers, their attacks have been getting worse lately. 3 or 4 times a week now, with twice as many staff as there used to be. No idea where they all come from, or why the attacks have increased. We tried following one of them during the day a few weeks ago, me and Sarah. Wanted to see if they led back to a staff room or something. Didn't seem to go anywhere though. Just randomly walked through the aisles. We had to turn back before we found anything. We've been reinforcing the walls, trying to arm ourselves better. Certainly no lack of materials to use. Wasim has been making more crossbows, but it's pretty slow going. Too bad IKEA doesn't sell guns.
Yep, too bad.
Never thought I'd say that.
Note: no new personnel have entered SCP-3008 at site in the time span indicated in this entry.
The attacks are getting bad now. Almost every night. And with so many staff that the bodies almost pile high enough for others to climb the walls. I think we're in real trouble here. I think exchange is done. We got hit pretty bad last night. Not many casualties, but the wall is wrecked. We finally figured out why the attacks have been escalating too. A box of supplies had a chunk of one of the staff in there.
Whoa!
No idea how it happened, but apparently a piece of one will draw them, as well as a full body.
That means that maybe somebody set you up, buddy. When they come to the exchange you some supplies, they thought, let's get them off our back. Let's get them on you.
Too late now, in any case. There's too many bodies for us to haul away and still have time to fix the wall before midnight. Candace has called a meeting. I suspect there will be talk of abandoning exchange. Maybe try and get shelter at the checkouts or something. It's already getting late, though. I don't think we'll have time to make it. Maybe some of us will. I was fine for that first week out in the dark after all. But then, how often can I keep getting lucky? I'm only writing this for a sense of closure, I guess. For me, or for anyone who finds this. If this is the final entry here, I hope whoever is reading this is doing so from outside of this place. My biggest fear. If I do die tonight, I'll just wake up here again in the morning.
Oh, like an endless loop. No, thank you, son.
Note: this is the last entry. It is assumed that while he was attempting to reach the checkouts settlement, he was separated from the rest of his group by pursuing SCP-3008-2 instance and happened upon the exit. Oof. I've been to IKEA a few times, and that guy's recollection, not that different from mine.
Alright, buddy.
That place is a war zone.
It is.
Also, why do I keep on getting assigned interdimensional SCPs? I don't know. Anyway, I think that about does it for today. Thank you very much for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Go away. I'm just kidding. Goodbye.
Alright. Alright, so I'm assuming that their assumptions are right in the fact that when he tried to leave, or when they tried to go for the checkout settlement, maybe they were the guy started coming after them on the way there. They started running away. He got separated from the group, and he was getting chased by these things. Or maybe they were just fighting and then they all scattered, or maybe they all saw the exit and then he was the only one who made it out the exit. I guess we'll never know, and that will be up to our own imagination. But he'll never be able to recall what actually happened, because my man got the poppity pop from one of the staff before he made it fully out. So, yeah, too bad the guards or the task force couldn't kill that thing before that he murdered our boy. But yeah, that was very intriguing, man. Very intriguing. I understand why people want me to watch the long volgun videos, because they are, I'd say, better than the exploring series shorter videos that just give me a nice overview, if you will. He said he's been to a few IKEAs. I don't know if that's him playing the character or him playing himself at the end, but he said he's been to a few IKEAs and it is a war zone. I will attest to the fact that the IKEAs, when they're busy, dude, like, they're a bit crazy, man. They're a bit crazy. They are a bit crazy. You could definitely get lost and separated from who you're with, or just get lost. And you can definitely get lost in IKEA and not find, you know, the bathroom story I told earlier, but someone couldn't find it. That stuff like that, right? But anyway, man, that's the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, man. Be sure to subscribe, like, and I'll see you all in the next one, ladies and gents.